And now it's time for 3x3 Experiment by JCD, comparing stories from ABC, CBS, and NBC. The never-ending 3x3.
CNN President Jeff Zucker abruptly resigning today after leading the network for nearly a decade, stepping down after he said he failed to disclose a consensual relationship with a top executive. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef tonight.
Tonight, Jeff Zucker, one of the most powerful executives in the news business, resigning after acknowledging he'd been in an undisclosed relationship with a top executive who was his second in command. CNN policy required him to disclose the relationship when it began.
We have news now to report involving our network. CNN President Jeff Zucker has just resigned after disclosing a consensual relationship with a colleague.
That romantic relationship with CNN Executive Vice President Allison Gollust uncovered during the investigation into former CNN anchor Chris Cuomo. Cuomo was fired for his effort to help his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, fend off allegations of sexual harassment. In an email to CNN employees, Zucker, who helmed the news organization for 9 years, saying, "I acknowledge the relationship evolved in recent years. I was required to disclose it when it began, but I didn't. I was wrong." The two working closely for 20 years. Both are divorced.
His resignation is stunning this newsroom and the news industry.
In a statement of her own, Gollust revealing her professional relationship with her boss changed during COVID, adding, "I regret that we didn't disclose it at the right time." She says she plans to remain at CNN. In a statement, Zucker calling Gollust one of his closest colleagues, and as you heard there, they worked together for 20 years. David?
Ariel Reshef here in New York tonight. Ariel, thank you.
I want to get now to that surprising announcement of the media world, one of the biggest names in news and entertainment. CNN Worldwide President Jeff Zucker resigning effective immediately. Emily Ikeda has details.
We have news now to report involving our network.
A stunning shakeup at CNN.
I don't think anybody saw this coming this morning, an announcement like this.
CNN president and chairman of Warner Media's News and Sports, Jeff Zucker, is out, resigning immediately for failing to report a relationship with a top-ranking colleague. Zucker writing in a memo to his staff, "I was required to disclose it when it began, but I didn't. I was wrong." The 56-year-old called the relationship consensual and with his closest colleague.
Gollust, the top marketing executive for CNN, she's remaining with the company.
In a statement, CNN Executive Vice President Allison Gollust confirmed the relationship, saying it changed during COVID. "I regret that we didn't disclose it at the right time." That relationship surfaced as part of CNN's investigation into its former primetime anchor, Chris Cuomo. Just 2 months ago, Zucker fired Cuomo for advising his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, on sexual misconduct allegations.
Part of this was that a lot of people thought that Jeff Zucker shouldn't have stood by Chris Cuomo as long as he did and should have fired him much earlier than he did.
Zucker and Gollust both rose through the ranks at NBC Universal. She worked in communications. He became the company's CEO. Gollust then spent 4 months as Governor Cuomo's communications director, but when Zucker moved to CNN in 2013, she soon followed. The abrupt end to Zucker's 9 years running CNN comes at a pivotal time. The network preparing to launch its own streaming service as its parent company is in the middle of one of the nation's largest media mergers.
Just how earth-shaking is this for the company at this time?
It is stunning. This is not a time that anybody would have expected an announcement like this. And now the leadership, the person who has been at the helm since 2013, is gone at a particularly fraught time for the company.
Tonight, CNN naming 3 executives as interim co-heads as the network feels the fallout. Emily Ikeda, NBC News, New York.
And here,
There was a big shakeup in the world of cable news today. CNN President Jeff Zucker abruptly resigned after acknowledging a consensual relationship with a coworker. Details of the relationship came to light during the investigation into now fired CNN anchor Chris Cuomo. CBS's Jerika Duncan has more.
He was one of America's most powerful moguls who propelled the careers of media stars. Today, his exit came suddenly. In his resignation letter, Jeff Zucker admitted to a consensual relationship with another executive at CNN. "I was required to disclose it," Zucker wrote, "but I didn't. I was wrong." In a separate statement, CNN Chief Marketing Officer Allison Gollust admitted to the relationship. The two met more than 20 years ago when both were at NBC. Zucker's downfall comes just 2 months after CNN anchor Chris Cuomo was fired for not disclosing the extent of his involvement and advising his brother, then New York's governor, on how to handle sexual harassment allegations. During the Chris Cuomo investigation, Zucker was asked about his own relationship with Gullist.
What stands out as problematic when you look at why he resigned?
Leadership and culture starts from the top. And if he's not following it, I don't know how they can expect any employee to follow it.
Today, CNN host Allison Camerata defended Zucker.
These are two consenting adults who are both executives. That they can't have a private relationship feels wrong.
The network's Brian Stelter says it may all be a domino effect from Chris Cuomo's firing.
There were reports that he wasn't going to get paid the millions of dollars that were going to be on the remainder of his contract. So as a source said to me earlier today, he was trying to burn the place down.
A source close to Chris Cuomo tells CBS News he had no involvement in exposing Zucker's relationship. As for Gullist, last year she was rumored to have been next in line to take Zucker's position if he stepped down. As of right now, she is staying put at CNN. Nora.
Tarika Duncan, thank you.
Important conversations for sure.